I have more respect for a man who lets me know where he stands, even if he's wrong.
We always said in Black Panther Party that they can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary.
Understanding the psychology of homosexuality, myths and realities. Homosexuality has been a controversial topic for many years, with people having different opinions about what causes it and whether it should be accepted or not. Despite the increasing acceptance and visibility of same-sex relationships, many myths and misconceptions still exist regarding homosexuality. It is a complex and multidimensional phenomenon that requires a comprehensive understanding of the psychology of human sexuality. This lesson aims to explore the myths and realities surrounding homosexuality and to provide a deeper understanding of the psychology behind it. From discussing the biological and environmental factors that influence sexual orientation to examining the psychological effects of societal stigmatization, we will delve into the complex nature of human sexuality to provide a more nuanced view of homosexuality. Introduction: breaking down stereotypes and misconceptions in today's society, the understanding and acceptance of homosexuality have come a long way. However, there are still prevalent stereotypes and misconceptions that surround this topic. It's crucial to break down these stereotypes and educate ourselves to foster an inclusive and supportive environment for everyone. One of the most common misconceptions about homosexuality is that it is a choice or a lifestyle. However, extensive research in psychology and neuroscience has shown that sexual orientation is not a conscious decision. It is an innate aspect of a person's identity, just like their race or gender. People do not choose to be attracted to individuals of the same sex. It is simply a natural part of who they are. Another common misconception is that homosexuality is a mental disorder or abnormality. This belief is rooted in outdated and harmful ideas that pathologize individuals based on their sexual orientation. The reality is that homosexuality is not a mental illness. It is a normal and healthy variation of human sexuality that exists across cultures and throughout history. Breaking down these stereotypes and misconceptions is vital for creating a society that embraces diversity and respects the rights and identities of all individuals. By challenging these myths and educating ourselves, we can foster a more inclusive environment where everyone feels valued and accepted for who they are. In this lesson, we will delve deeper into the psychology of homosexuality, exploring the scientific research, debunking myths, and shedding light on the realities of LGBTQ+ experiences. By gaining a better understanding of the complexities and nuances of sexual orientation, we can work towards a more inclusive and compassionate society for all. Stay tuned for the upcoming articles that will provide valuable insights into this important topic. Defining homosexuality. Understanding sexual orientation. Defining homosexuality is a crucial step in understanding the complex nature of sexual orientation. It is important to debunk the myths and misconceptions surrounding homosexuality and delve into the reality of what it truly means. Homosexuality refers to the romantic or sexual attraction, emotional or sexual desire, and behavior between individuals of the same sex. It is a natural and inherent aspect of human diversity, just like heterosexuality. Sexual orientation is not a choice or a phase, it is an innate characteristic that exists across cultures, time periods, and societies. Contrary to certain misconceptions, homosexuality is not a mental disorder or a result of any psychological trauma or upbringing. It is not a lifestyle or a conscious decision. Sexual orientation, including homosexuality, is believed to have biological, genetic, hormonal, and environmental factors that contribute to its development. Understanding sexual orientation requires acknowledging that it exists on a spectrum. It is not limited to a binary classification of being solely homosexual or heterosexual. There are individuals who identify as bisexual, pansexual, or asexual, among other identities, showcasing the diverse nature of human sexuality. It is important to approach the topic of sexual orientation with empathy, respect, and a willingness to learn. By dispelling myths and embracing the reality of sexual orientation, we can foster a more inclusive and accepting society that values the rights and dignity of all individuals, regardless of their sexual orientation. Debunking myths. Common misconceptions about homosexuality. In order to truly understand and support the LGBTQ community, it is crucial to debunk the common myths and misconceptions surrounding homosexuality. These misconceptions have persisted for far too long and have contributed to the marginalization and discrimination faced by individuals who identify as homosexual. One of the most prevalent myths is that homosexuality is a choice. This misconception stems from a lack of understanding about sexual orientation. Countless scientific studies have demonstrated that sexual orientation is not a conscious decision, but rather a deeply ingrained aspect of a person's identity. It is important to recognize that individuals do not choose their sexual orientation any more than they choose their eye color or height. Another common myth is that homosexuality is a mental disorder or abnormality. This misconception has been perpetuated by societal stigmatization and outdated beliefs. However, it is essential to note that the American Psychiatric Association and other reputable medical and psychological organizations have unequivocally stated that homosexuality is not a disorder. Being homosexual is a normal and valid variation of human sexuality. Furthermore, the notion that homosexuality is against nature or goes against natural reproductive instincts is another unfounded myth. Homosexuality can be observed in numerous animal species, and thus, it is a natural occurrence. Sexual orientation is a complex interplay of genetic, hormonal, and environmental factors, and it serves a purpose beyond reproduction, such as forming emotional bonds and building relationships. Lastly, the misconception that homosexuality can be cured or changed through conversion therapy must be debunked. Conversion therapy has been widely discredited by medical and psychological professionals as harmful and ineffective. It is essential to support and affirm individuals in their authentic sexual orientation, rather than promoting harmful practices that aim to change who they are. By dispelling these myths and misconceptions, we can foster a more inclusive and accepting society. It is our responsibility to educate ourselves and others, challenge prejudices, and advocate for the rights and well-being of the LGBTQ+ community. Understanding the psychology of homosexuality requires us to embrace the realities and complexities of human diversity, free from the constraints of outdated beliefs and misinformation. Historical and cultural perspectives. Homosexuality across time and society. Understanding the historical and cultural perspectives of homosexuality is crucial in dispelling myths and uncovering the realities of this diverse human experience. Throughout history, homosexuality has been both celebrated and stigmatized, with attitudes varying greatly across different societies and time periods. In ancient civilizations such as Greece and Rome, homosexuality was not only accepted but also considered a normal part of human sexuality. Same-sex relationships were depicted in art, celebrated in literature, and even recognized in legal frameworks. These societies recognized the fluidity and complexity of human desire, acknowledging that love and attraction could exist beyond traditional gender norms. However, as societies shifted and religious ideologies emerged, attitudes towards homosexuality began to change. Many major world religions, such as Christianity and Islam, took a more condemnatory stance and labeled homosexuality as immoral or sinful. This shift in cultural and religious perspectives led to the marginalization and persecution of LGBTQ+ individuals throughout history, with laws and societal norms suppressing their identities and relationships. It is important to recognize that these historical and cultural perspectives are not static. Over time, societies have made progress in understanding and accepting homosexuality. The LGBTQ+ rights movement, which gained momentum in the 20th century, has led to increased visibility and advocacy for LGBTQ+ individuals, challenging societal norms and demanding equal rights and recognition. Today, attitudes towards homosexuality continue to evolve, with many societies embracing diversity and promoting inclusivity. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that there are still many regions and communities where LGBTQ+ individuals face discrimination, persecution, and even violence due to deeply ingrained cultural and religious beliefs. By understanding the historical and cultural perspectives of homosexuality, we can challenge the myths and misconceptions that perpetuate stigma and discrimination. It is through education, empathy, and open dialogue that we can foster a more inclusive and accepting world where all individuals, regardless of their sexual orientation, are embraced and celebrated for who they are. The science of homosexuality. Understanding the biological factors behind homosexuality is crucial in debunking myths and misconceptions surrounding this topic. While there is still ongoing research in this field, scientific studies have made significant strides in shedding light on the complex nature of sexual orientation. One important aspect to consider is the role of genetics. Numerous studies have suggested that there may be a genetic component to homosexuality. Research has shown that there is a higher concordance rate for homosexuality among identical twins compared to fraternal twins, indicating a genetic influence. This suggests that genes may play a role in determining sexual orientation. However, it is important to note that genetics alone cannot fully explain the development of homosexuality, as there are likely other contributing factors involved. Another biological factor that has been explored is hormonal influences. Research has shown that hormone levels during prenatal development can influence sexual orientation. For example, exposure to different levels of sex hormones in the womb may affect the development of sexual orientation later in life. However, it is essential to understand that hormonal influences are just one piece of the puzzle and do not solely determine an individual's sexual orientation. Furthermore, brain structure and function have also been studied in relation to homosexuality. Several studies have found differences in brain structure and activation patterns between homosexual and heterosexual individuals. These findings suggest that there may be inherent neurological differences associated with sexual orientation. However, it is important to note that these differences do not imply any form of abnormality or pathology. They simply reflect natural variations in brain structure and function. It is crucial to approach the science of homosexuality with an open mind and a commitment to understanding the complexities involved. While biological factors undoubtedly play a role in sexual orientation, it is essential to recognize that being gay or lesbian is a normal and natural variation of human sexuality. By dispelling myths and embracing the realities supported by scientific research, we can foster a more inclusive and informed society. Psychology and homosexuality, exploring psychological perspectives when it comes to understanding the psychology of homosexuality. It is essential to explore various psychological perspectives. Homosexuality has been a subject of debate and scrutiny for centuries, and understanding the psychological aspects can help dispel myths and misconceptions surrounding this sexual orientation. One psychological perspective that has been extensively studied is the psychodynamic approach. According to this perspective, homosexuality was once considered a mental disorder, rooted in unresolved conflicts during childhood. However, modern research and advancements in psychology have discredited this notion, recognizing that sexual orientation is a natural variation of human sexuality. Another perspective is the social-cultural approach, which emphasizes the impact of societal and cultural factors on sexual orientation. This perspective acknowledges that sexual orientation is influenced by a complex interplay of biological, psychological, and environmental factors. It highlights the importance of social acceptance, support, and inclusivity in fostering positive mental health outcomes for individuals within the LGBTQ+ community. Additionally, the cognitive behavioral perspective focuses on examining how thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors contribute to the experiences of individuals identifying as homosexual. It explores the formation of self-identity, coming out processes, and challenges relating to societal stigma and discrimination. Understanding these psychological factors can help create a more inclusive and supportive environment for individuals within the LGBTQ+ community. It is crucial to approach the psychology of homosexuality with an open mind, free from biases and preconceived notions. By exploring these various psychological perspectives, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complexities surrounding sexual orientation and challenge the myths and stereotypes that perpetuate discrimination and prejudice. Coming out and self-acceptance. Personal experiences and challenges. Coming out and self-acceptance are deeply personal experiences for individuals within the LGBTQ+ community. It is a journey that varies greatly from person to person, influenced by factors such as cultural background, family dynamics, and societal attitudes. For many, coming out can be a liberating and empowering experience, allowing individuals to embrace their true selves and live authentically. However, it is important to recognize that the process is not always easy or straightforward. It can be accompanied by a range of emotions, including fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. One of the main challenges faced by individuals coming out is the fear of rejection or negative reactions from family, friends, and society. This fear stems from the lingering stigma and discrimination that still exist in many parts of the world. It takes immense courage for individuals to disclose their sexual orientation or gender identity, knowing that they may face prejudice or even lose important relationships. Moreover, self-acceptance is a complex and ongoing process. Internalized homophobia, which refers to the internalization of negative societal attitudes, can create feelings of shame, guilt, and self-doubt. Overcoming these internalized beliefs and embracing one's identity can be a difficult journey that requires self-reflection, support from loved ones, and access to affirming resources and communities. It is crucial for society to create a safe and inclusive environment where individuals can come out and be themselves without fear of judgment or discrimination. Supportive friends, family members, and allies play a vital role in this process by providing a listening ear, unconditional love, and acceptance. Ultimately, coming out and self-acceptance are deeply personal and courageous acts that deserve respect and understanding. By challenging myths and dispelling misconceptions, we can foster a more inclusive society that celebrates and embraces the diversity of human sexuality and gender identity. LGBTQ+ rights and advocacy. The fight for equality. The fight for LGBTQ+ rights and equality has been a long and ongoing battle. It is essential to understand the psychology behind homosexuality to dispel myths and misconceptions that have fueled discrimination and prejudice against the LGBTQ+ community. Historically, society has held various beliefs about homosexuality, ranging from viewing it as a mental illness to considering it a moral or religious issue. However, advancements in psychology have helped dismantle these harmful and inaccurate perceptions. Research has consistently shown that sexual orientation, including homosexuality, is a natural and inherent aspect of human diversity. It is not a choice or a result of environmental factors, upbringing, or any other external influence. Multiple studies have demonstrated that sexual orientation is influenced by a complex interplay of genetic, hormonal, and environmental factors, much like other human traits. Understanding this fundamental truth is crucial in advocating for LGBTQ+ rights and fighting against discrimination. LGBTQ+ individuals face unique challenges, including legal and social barriers, stigmatization, and marginalization. They still encounter prejudice, unequal treatment, and limited access to basic human rights in many parts of the world. Advocacy plays a vital role in creating a more inclusive and accepting society. It involves raising awareness, challenging stereotypes, and promoting equal rights and protections for LGBTQ+ individuals. Advocacy efforts have been instrumental in achieving significant milestones, such as the legalization of same-sex marriage in many countries and the establishment of anti-discrimination laws. However, the fight for equality is far from over. LGBTQ+ individuals continue to face discrimination in areas such as employment, housing, healthcare, and education. Transgender individuals, in particular, experience higher levels of violence, discrimination, and societal rejection. To support the LGBTQ+ community and contribute to the fight for equality, it is essential to educate ourselves and others about the realities of homosexuality. By challenging myths and misconceptions, fostering empathy and understanding, and advocating for equal rights, we can create a world that embraces diversity and celebrates the rights and dignity of all individuals, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. Support and resources. Organizations and communities for LGBTQ+ individuals in today's world. It is crucial to foster a supportive and inclusive environment for LGBTQ+ individuals. Thankfully, there are numerous organizations and communities dedicated to providing support, resources, and a sense of belonging to individuals within the LGBTQ+ community. One such organization is the Human Rights Campaign, a prominent LGBTQ+ civil rights organization. HRC works tirelessly to advocate for equal rights and protections for LGBTQ+ individuals, fighting against discrimination and promoting inclusivity. They provide valuable resources and information on a wide range of topics, such as healthcare, workplace equality, and legal protections. Another noteworthy organization is PFLAG. PFLAG offers support and educational resources for families, friends, and allies of LGBTQ+ individuals. Their aim is to promote acceptance, understanding, and unconditional love within families and communities. For LGBTQ+ youth specifically, organizations like the Trevor Project and It Gets Better Project offer support, crisis intervention, and suicide prevention services. These organizations play a vital role in providing a lifeline for LGBTQ+ youth who may be facing isolation, discrimination, or mental health challenges. In addition to these national organizations, there are numerous local LGBTQ+ community centers and support groups that provide a safe space for individuals to connect, seek support, and find a sense of belonging. These community centers often offer a wide range of services, including counseling, social events, educational workshops, and support groups tailored to specific needs. It is important to remember that support and resources are available not only to LGBTQ+ individuals themselves but also to their allies. Allies play a vital role in creating an inclusive society and can benefit from the education and resources provided by these organizations. By recognizing and supporting these organizations and communities, we can contribute to creating a more inclusive and accepting world for LGBTQ+ individuals. Together, we can challenge the myths and stereotypes surrounding homosexuality and embrace the realities of diverse identities and experiences. Conclusion: embracing diversity and promoting understanding. In conclusion, It is crucial to embrace diversity and promote understanding when it comes to the psychology of homosexuality. Throughout history, myths and misconceptions have fueled discrimination and stigmatization against the LGBTQ+ community. However, it is essential to challenge these preconceived notions and educate ourselves about the realities of homosexuality. By understanding the psychological aspects of homosexuality, we can break down barriers and create a more inclusive society. It is vital to recognize that sexual orientation is a natural and inherent part of human diversity, and it should be celebrated rather than condemned. Embracing diversity means accepting and respecting people for who they are, regardless of their sexual orientation. Promoting understanding requires open-mindedness and a willingness to learn. It involves engaging in meaningful conversations, listening to the experiences of LGBTQ+ individuals, and challenging our own biases and prejudices. By doing so, we can foster empathy, compassion, and acceptance. Furthermore, it is crucial to advocate for equal rights and protections for the LGBTQ+ community. This includes fighting against discrimination in all its forms, whether it be in healthcare, education, employment, or housing. Everyone deserves to live their lives authentically and without fear of judgment or persecution. In conclusion, embracing diversity and promoting understanding are powerful tools in combating prejudice and creating a more inclusive society. By challenging myths and misconceptions surrounding homosexuality, we can foster acceptance, respect, and equality for all individuals, regardless of their sexual orientation. Let us strive for a world where love, understanding, and diversity are celebrated and cherished. We hope this lesson has shed light on the psychology of homosexuality, debunking common myths and revealing the realities. It is crucial to approach this topic with an open mind, understanding that sexual orientation is a fundamental aspect of human diversity. By dispelling misconceptions and promoting accurate information, we can foster a more inclusive and accepting society. Let us strive to embrace diversity in all its forms and create a world where everyone can live authentically and without judgment.